Hello students, I'm Aanchal Sharma, your educator. In this video, we are going to discuss about another novelist, and today we are going to discuss about Arun Joshi. So Arun Joshi is one of the Indo-English authors who gave the new direction to Indian fiction. Indian fiction written in English. His novel is basically based on the rootlessness that the person faces. Existentialism is the basic theme about which he centers all his novels. So, his novels are based on the rootlessness of the character who is always in search of his own identity. It seems that his own experience of living abroad is portrayed in each and every novel that he has written. And each and every protagonist and the character around which he centers the novel are trapped in this existential world who are facing trouble to know about their own self and about the humans that are interacting with him. In all of his novels, Joshi deals with the theme of alienation that is similar as existentialism. You don't know why are you in this world, what is your purpose of life, and the involvement in that world. The East and the West encounter and the compromises one actually has to make with it is also one of the important themes. The novels also deal with love and hate. There is a juxtaposition between love, hate, between the Eastern world and the Western world, between the quest and the contemplation, what you have to do, what you already have, and existentialism and materialism are few important themes around which he centers all of his novels. The person or the protagonist around which he centers his novel are dealing with the problem of rootlessness and existentialism, who do not know why they are living in this world that in which they have no purpose. So either they are on a spiritual journey or they are on the journey to know about themselves. He has been influenced a lot by Albert Camus and also other existential writers. Joshi made a mark in the Indian English writer with the publication of his first novel, that was The Foreigner, that came out in 1968. Rest of his novels, The Strange Case of Billy Bishwas, that came out in 1973, The Apprentice 1974, The Last Labyrinth 1981, and The City and the River in 1990 have been received by all the literary critics, and all of them loved his novels. The three most important novels were The Foreigner, The Strange Case of Billy Bishwas, and The Last Labyrinth. Last Labyrinth also received Sahitya Academy Award, right? They have all been received very well. In 1979, at the invitation of the East-West Center, Joshi participated in the World Writers Conference that was held in USA in Hawaii. Right, so he was pretty famous. People started to get to read him and they could understand that just as he feels alienated in the world, his own characters are also alienated and rootless, and they do not know the purpose of their own life. In 1983, Joshi won the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award for his novel, The Last Labyrinth. Apart from the novel mentioned above that we saw, Joshi has also published some of the short story collections, like The Survivor in 1975 it came out. There were some short stories like Any American from Our Village, and this and has been manifested itself in Quest. So it came out in Quest, and also in the contemporary Indian English series that was edited by Madhusudan Prasad, right? So the stories were edited by Madhusudan Prasad as well. Right, so himself as an entrepreneur, Joshi has also published 2 books on the business world. So he was very in contact with the business world because he himself was an entrepreneur, and he wrote these works were Lal Shri Ram, The Study of Entrepreneurship and Industrial Management, that came out in 1975, and The Remembering Lal Shri Ram, the reminiscent of his 100th birthday, that was edited and it came out in 1984. So these were few of the works, but the most important ones are his novels. I would repeat, so I think I have them written as well. So these are the novels that are important. We have The Foreigner, that came out in 1968, The Strange Case of Billy Vishwas, that came out in 1971, The Apprentice, 1974, The Last Labyrinth, 1981, and The City and the River, 1990. These are the short story, The Survivor and the Other Stories in 1975, and The Only American from Our Village. As I told you, he was an entrepreneur, so he has written these two books related to entrepreneurship, right? So these were the few details that you should know. Now we will be, digging deep into the novels, and we'll be discussing some of the critical commenting that we have on the novels, and we'll also discuss the summaries also and the characters. So, The Foreigner. Now, this is a novel written by Arun Joshi. The Foreigner by Arun Joshi is about the human relation and its various aspects of life. The central character of this story is Sindhi Oberoi. So, Sindhi is a person who is devastated. He does not know what to do with his life. And the story revolves around his own loneliness and his own feeling of anguish and anxiety, born of his own estrangement. He does not know where he belongs to. He keeps on moving from one place to another, born from a different, a father from a different race, mother from a different race, then being raised by a Kenyan uncle. He does not know whom to get attached to and how to live a life. He just keeps on moving from one place to another, whether it is Kenya, whether it is some other place like Uganda, England, or USA. He is completely devastated and does not know why is he even surviving. What is the basic crux of his life? In the story, the young hero, after experiencing life and love in America, comes back to Delhi and eventually, persuaded by a humble officer, works that sometimes detachment lies in actual involvement. So detachment can be the way to live the life. We have Sindhi Oberoi, who thinks that detachment and almost being an alienated man can help himself grow in this life. He feels the same in every place. For example, in Kenya, where he is born, in England and in USA, where he is a student, and in India, where he finally settles. So he finds no roots and no love anywhere. He just keeps on moving from one relationship to another. He keeps on jumping from one place to another, but does not know what is the purpose of his own life. His detachment transcends barriers of geography, nationality, and culture as well. It propels him from one crisis to another and then sucking in the wake of several other people, including there's this person, June, a very attractive American woman, and then there is another person who dies and his name is Babu. Babu is another character who is like a third vertex of his doomed love story that he has with the character June. So just like any other character, any other protagonist of Arun Joshi, Sindhi Oberoi is a person who will just go about moving from one family, one place to another, and he won't even understand what is the purpose of his own life. This is the picture of the book. Okay, now comes the very important novel. This is a novel called as The Strange Case of Billy Vishwas. The Strange Case of Billy Vishwas is the study of total alienation of its hero called as Billy Vishwas from the modern bourgeois society of India. Some of the characters that are important, and I want you to write the names of the character also. We have Billy Vishwas. Billy Vishwas' wife is called as Meena. So Meena is the wife of Billy Vishwas. Then we have what? We have Bilasia. She's a woman, she's a tribal woman whom you will see that Billy will be in a relationship with. Then there is Romy, a very dear friend of Billy. And last but not the least, there is Lindgren. So these are the characters that are important in the novel, The Strange Case of Billy Vishwas. Let us study about the structure and then we'll dig deep into the summary. So the strange case of Billy Vishwas is a study of total alienation of this hero called as Billy Vishwas from this modern bourgeoisie world. He finds that he has no solace living in this modern world. The novel is divided into two parts. The first one consists of about 100 pages and the second another of 100 to 50 pages. Both of these parts are called as the civilized world and the primitive world, respectively. So from the very beginning, you will come to know that this book is the juxtaposition. There is a constant struggle between these two words. The civilized world, where Billy thinks that he can never fit. In this world, he's a person who cannot adjust with this civilized world, who are very materialist. They are always thinking about themselves. They are only running and chasing money. Contrary to the world that is the primitive, where he thinks he is happy. And the primitive people also respect him. While when he was in a civilized world, he never got any kind of respect. Right? So it is only Lindgren, and who is the Swedish girlfriend of Billy, who sometimes tries to understand Billy, but otherwise there is no one who will understand him. So Billy came from a family, from a very respected family, father being a judge, grandfather being a president of a princely state. He was someone who never believed in himself. He was someone who had no aims, no love for himself. He had no love for other people as well. He was very much a rootless spirit, going from one place to another. So they thought that these two worlds represent, as we all know, the distinct cultures. Though geographically they can be different, but they are different in the mannerism as well. So Billy is in the direct contrast. There is a tug of war going on between the civilized world and the primitive world. The novel reveals the falsity of the so-called refinement of the Indian upper class society. He was from this Indian upper class society and he thought that he was happy in that society. But once he encounters the village, the primitive culture, he realizes that he is more attached to the primitive culture rather to the civilized world, where he has to be happy and fulfill the responsibility, and he is not at all materialistic, so he is not able to adjust in that world as well. So Billy's case has been very strange from the very childhood only. When he was only 14, he was sent to Bhubaneswar to visit the Konark, and Konark is a tribe there. He just visited them and he saw the tribal dance there, and a strange sensation took over him. So when he was small, because of this incident that happened in his life, he was mesmerized by it, and after that he could never leave the thought of the tribal people from his life. So Billy was sent out of India to the foreign country to have extremely good education, but he could never relate with those world. He was always thinking about this primitive world, about the Konark tribe, and when he just went there to study, he thought that he is not interested in studying that, and he was more interested in studying anthropology. So he did PhD, he completed his PhD, never told his father that he is going to switch his, subject, but he completed his PhD and then he was called back again. So during that time, he got this girlfriend, Lindgren, and she was a Swedish person. She was the girlfriend of Billy Vishwas, and she was the only one with whom he used to talk some sense, with whom he used to talk that how he wants to study more about the primitive culture, how he is more attracted towards them. Otherwise, all the other characters pay no heed to whatever he was saying. Now, Billy was married to Meena, and Meena was someone who ran after materialism. He was very opposite to what Meena was, so they could never love each other. Now, as he came back, Billy was very restless when he just went to this tribe in Bhubaneswar, in the Konark. So he became restless when he heard the drums beating and he listens to the folk song, and he thought at that time that he was transported to this trance culture or this different world. As a matter of fact, Billy is a stranger to the civilized world, and he thought that he is more attracted towards this tribal culture. The civilized men are estranged to him, and he has an intense hatred for them as well. So what happens? I'll tell you the story. So it was said that Billy, he just came back again from completing his PhD degree. He came back here, started to work, but he was very dissatisfied. And he was married to Meena, of course, the complete opposite to what he used to think. He wants, he wants a person in his life. So what happens? One day he just started to visit a tribal place, and he just went there and he never came back. So everyone thought that Billy must have died, or maybe he has committed suicide. But there was no information for about a month or a year. There were about 10 years or so. Gradually, people forgot that there was this Billy person whom they were remembering, because there was no information of Billy. But ultimately, Billy was someone who was living with the tribal people, and he met this person, Vilasia, there. She was the female living in that tribe only, and he fell in love with her. These tribal people respected him a lot, and they thought that it is the god who sent Billy there, and Billy was their chief. When his friend Romy one day visited that district, because he was doing inspection, he just visited that tribal area. He realized that that person he saw was none other than Billy Biswas. So he was shocked by seeing that Billy is still alive. Somehow the news transported and went to Billy's father. Billy's father was a judge in Supreme Court, and he was very influential person. So he used all his power to bring back Billy to Delhi. But Billy ultimately had decided that he wants to live with the primitive, with the primitive people, with the tribal people, and he is not happy in the civilized world. So in this manhunt that happened, Billy ultimately died. So this death is the final acceptance that yes, I am strange to the world that is modernized, to this world where I do not belong. So there is a direct, reference to this. The title is a direct reference to what Billy is trying to say. This is a strange world. I want to live with the primitive world. This whole book is telling you the struggle between the Western culture that is too modernized and Billy was unhappy there, and between the primitive culture where he is respected and he is absorbed there. So ultimately his death shows that he has chosen to die in the primitive world only. So this is the story or the plot of The Strange Case of Billy Biswas, and these are the characters that you should know. Let us move forward. Then there is another novel, The Apprentice. So Joshi's third novel, The Apprentice, is a tale that a person is talking about himself. It's like a monologue that you will have. It's an indictment and a tyranny of the world without norms, without direction, throughout, and perhaps without a purpose. It is a novel totally different from other novels. In this novel, the narrator, the protagonist, Ratan Rathore will expose his own character while talking about himself only, and how he is just sitting there on the temple stairs and polishing the shoes. And this is told in a form of an interior monologue. So you will see that Ratan Rathore is the character. He came from a very influential family again. He was someone who had, whose father was a very good person, whose father was very devoted to the Indian, India as well. And he was taking part in many rallies fighting against the British. Contrary to him, his mother was someone who was very pragmatic, and between these two approaches, Rathore finds himself baffled and struggling between these two different personalities. Father who had his ardent love for India, and mother who was very pragmatic and who knew that no one is going to help you, it is you who can actually help yourself. So Ratan Rathore is sitting on the steps of the temple and talking to other person, a NCC candidate who came to Delhi for the Republic Day parade. He's talking to that person and telling his own story and why he has taken upon himself the responsibility of now only polishing the shoes as the punishment of whatever crime he has done. So let's not go in greater detail in the novel, but what is most important to know in this novel is that Ratan Rathore will, starts his journey by seeking jobs, by finding jobs. He'll come to know that it is not only Delhi that where he comes back is a place full of opportunities, but it is also a place full of corruption. It is a place where you do have job applications written on the newspaper, but it's only a facade. So he joins as an apprentice working with a man, but he ultimately decides to just leave that job, and then he's now sitting at the temple stair just polishing the shoes because he has now understood that there is nothing left for him. His mother already dead because of TB, no one helped him. Father was a very influential person, but during the time of the needs, there was no one to help them. So this is the basic plot of The Apprentice. Then comes The Labyrinth. The Labyrinth is a very, very important novel. So Sahitya Academy Award was given to Arun Joshi for the novel The Last Labyrinth. What do you mean by the word labyrinth? So all the names of the novels are very interesting as well. As we all know, The Foreigner. So what do you mean by the foreigner? He is not only the foreigner in the land where he is moving from one place to another, but he is also a foreigner to himself. He does not know what he wants from his life. So he is a foreigner in two places. Now let us see The Last Labyrinth. The labyrinth is a maze. It is a puzzle. So just like this puzzle, the very important character in our story will be lost in the puzzle at the end as well. The Last Labyrinth by Arun Joshi is a story of Som Bhaskar. It is a unique character. The name is also showing you the dichotomy of the characters, and the meaning of the name is what? It is somewhere between moon and sun. So what is this person? Why is this person even living? He does not even know. So Som Bhaskar, he has everything. He came from a very influential family. He had everything. His father gave him a good established business, and then he died. Now he has everything. He has a good, beautiful wife. He has 2 children, but he is just not happy. He does not know what he wants from his life. He keeps on moving from one place to another, keeps on running behind materialistic things. Rather than thinking about his own wife, he just keeps on, just running from one place to another. So we have Geeta. Geeta is a very devoted wife. Geeta loves Som, and even Som loves her, and he knows that he wants Geeta in his life. But ultimately, he does not know the meaning of happiness. He just recklessly moves from one place to another in search of love and in search of money. So it is the lust for money and love that takes him from one place to another. So many characters in the novel are there, and all of them have something purposeful in their life. But it is Som who has everything, but still he has no purpose in his life. It is the void inside him that creates the havoc in his life. He is a 25-year-old who inherits his father's vast industrial wealth. Som is married to Geeta, who is a very devotional woman. He is attracted to this girl called as Anuradha, who is very alluring and very mysterious. So till now, Som has been running after different women. There are other women also in the novel that have been discussed, but he never got love. He never got satisfaction. He was running after the money as well. It was only Anuradha, the mysterious woman, who got his attention, and after that, he could not think anything else. So here, Anuradha is a mysterious woman, nothing but Maya herself. Someone who will trap Som and will lead him towards death, but nothing else. So she is very alluring and very mysterious. She is also married to Aftab. Aftab is also a businessman, but Som finds her very irresistible. In the whole novel, the way of getting her is described in a vivid manner. Just as in a maze, you keep on moving. You must have seen this game that we used to play. This was a maze, and there was these small metallic balls that you had to carry forward to the middle, right? This is a maze. Similarly, in this whole novel, Som would run after Anuradha and will ultimately is going towards his own doom. So, Aftab is another businessman, but Som finds her very irresistible. In the whole novel, the way of getting her is described in a vivid manner. Her conduct is beyond Som's comprehension. She accepts, rejects, and flees from him without warning. And he even suspects that she has some agreement with Geeta. So he also thinks that it is Geeta being involved, that why again and again Anuradha is going. So it is said that in the novel it is very clear that Anuradha is also deeply in love with Som, but she is living with Aftab. And Aftab is the person. So why is Anuradha so mysterious? Anuradha is someone who suffered from chickenpox and then now has lost her eyesight. She is someone who is deeply in love with Som but is living with Aftab in Lal Haveli, a very important place. This Lal Haveli is nothing but a maze that is described in the novel, a place with lot of rooms. So what happens, Anuradha is also in love with Som, but this tug of war that they are playing, so we have seen that Anuradha is just leaving behind Som and Som is running after her. Ultimately, he one day had a heart attack, a heart stroke, and it was a very fatal one. So Anuradha decided to just go because he is doing nothing great in his life and only creating problems for Som, who is already married. So Anuradha leaves, and Som thinks that it is Aftab who has caused this problem in his life. So he decides to take away all the shares of the businessman Aftab, and the business that Aftab holds is in a joint agreement. It is half of the shares are of Aftab and half are of Anuradha. Anuradha ultimately sells off all her shares to this temple that is there devoted to Lord Krishna and then goes away. There is another character, Gargi. She is also a sadhu there, and she is someone who once protected Som's life when he got that heart attack. So from Gargi, Som decided after the heart attack that he has to just run away and find Anuradha somehow. He just goes baffled, running away and just finding Anuradha, but he cannot. He just goes from one place to another. Ultimately, he meets Gargi and got to know that it is because of the love that Anuradha has left, and the shares are of Anuradha only. So ultimately at the end it is seen that Anuradha is still running, and then she is lost in the Lal Haveli, lost in the maze, lost in the labyrinth. And what is this? You don't know that either she is dead or she is lost, but it is Som who still searches for her. So there is no fulfillment, there is no love, and he's only running after something he does not know. So the situation drives Som so mad that he is gone towards the death as well, to the brink of the death from a heart attack, but he miraculously survives while Anuradha then disappears without a trace. After his recovery, he is hellbound and he is now going to find Anuradha. His frantic persuasion to search Anuradha leads him to absurd situations that the novel will tell you. Som eventually learns that Anuradha has sacrificed her love for him only in order to save him from the death and the heart attack. So astonished, agnostic and proud, Som rejects the explanation and continues the vehement quest of Anuradha in Anuradha's Haveli. In a desperate effort to again flee from him, she disappears in the last labyrinth, leaving him in doubt whether she has committed suicide or she has been killed. Alone and exhausted, Som goes on addressing his thoughts to her in the form of a beautiful prayer. So it is seen ultimately at the end whether it is his wife Geeta or it is the sadhu that we have, Gargi, or we have Anuradha. All of them are devoted to Lord Krishna. Aftab, he is not married to anyone, but he is very much devoted to Anuradha. But whom is Som attracted to? What is the purpose of Som's life? That is not clear in the entire novel. Hence, this is a tale of what? It's a tale of rootlessness and existentialism. Right? So these were the few important details about the novel. Now let us see one question that I have. So Sindhi Oberoi, the narrator of Arun Joshi's The Foreigner, says, "My foreignness lay within me and I cannot find myself wherever I went." Identify the places where he has gone. Kenya, Uganda, England, America, India. Kenya, Uganda, New Zealand, India, and England and India. Or is it Kenya? Is it England, Canada, or India? Kenya, America, England, Australia, or is it India? So we all know the right answer. As I told you, his uncle was in Kenya. He was educated there. He went to England. He went to America. He came back to India. So this means A is the right answer. A becomes the right answer for you. So this is how small details in the novels are also asked. The publishing dates, the award-winning novels, also the dates on which the award was given. All of these things are important. What are the important novels? We have already discussed. I hope you understood and liked the video. If you have any doubts, you can write it in the comment section and I'll surely reply to you. Thank you.